Hey guys, what's up? I just got back from Amazon's big media set-top box event where they introduced the Amazon Fire TV. So we're going to take a look at this right now, get to know the UI, unbox the fun stuff together. We're going to learn a little bit as we go. So this is the standard packaging. This is a set-top box. It looks very similar to kind of Apple's TV. It's a little bit bigger. The base is just a little bit thicker, but it's actually thinner in size than Apple's TV. So this is like thinner than a dime. So you can see on the back here, we've got a number of cables. It's a really sleek little device. I mean, it's got this soft touch on the top. It's glossy here on the sides. Real sharp edges. It's a nice looking little media player. And then that brings us over to the new controller. So we've also got kind of the soft touch happening here on this controller. What's exciting about this controller is that it's got Bluetooth in it, which means that you don't have to point it at anything. So your set-top box could be behind you, it could be under the TV, it could be behind the TV, and you would still be able to work with this because it connects via Bluetooth and not RF. So this also, what's exciting about this, as you can see, it's got the wheel just like an Apple TV remote. It's also got these standard buttons similar to what a Roku has. It's got a home button, it's got a back button, fast forward, play. It's also got this voice button, which is really important because Amazon is intent on fixing search on media streaming devices. So we're going to use this to do some voice search here in a minute once I get some batteries in this bad boy. The last thing that we're going to box, they kindly included an HDMI cable. Does not come with your purchase, so it's a $99 set-top box. You will have to purchase, the $20 HDMI cable to get it all hooked up and ready. The last thing that's really exciting is Amazon made this streaming device a gaming console as well. And so you can purchase, this does not come with it, but you can purchase alongside an Amazon gaming controller. Very similar to like what you'd see on an Xbox. It's got the two joysticks, it's got your directional pad here. The same buttons you're very accustomed to, and then it's got right trigger, right button, left button. You've also got play, fast forward functionality on here in case you wanted to use this as a remote. Both of these can actually be used for gaming, but Amazon wasn't really clear if like you and I could play a multiplayer game and you could use this and I could use this. But we do know that both are able to control games on the Fire TV. There's also an app that Amazon developed that'll let us control our games from an iPhone or a tablet or an Android smartphone. So let's just get to business. Let's set this thing up and take a look. All right, when you first sign on to your Amazon Fire TV, it'll go through a small tutorial video and then you'll kind of end up here, which is the home menu. So you see on the left, we have a bunch of different categories. So you can go from home, which has a number of different categories recently added to Prime, recently used or played with the apps, things that are featured. And then we can scroll down into movies, TV, your watch list, which is anything that you kind of find in the Fire TV that you want to add to watch later. Your video library actually comes preloaded, so when you buy any Kindle device, including a Fire TV, you give in your Amazon email address and they register you automatically so that everything that you've bought, I've got a lot of L word in here, everything that you've bought on Amazon shows up. We've got games because this is in fact a gaming device as well. We've got the controller to prove it. And Amazon says that there are thousands of games available right now. This is essentially an Android device. This is a forked version of Android, so anything that you can find on a Kindle Fire tablet, you can probably find here. Apps, this is where you kind of buy your apps and figure out what you're going to do. Hulu is a content partner, Crackle, iHeartRadio. We've got Showtime, Vimeo. I haven't seen HBO yet, which has me curious. We're going to figure that out with, as this goes on. There's also a photo section, which is pretty standard across media devices, but you can use the Cloud Drive app to load your photos. I haven't done this yet, but you can use this to load your photos and they'll automatically be synced over to your Fire TV so you can check them out. So let's talk about some of the things that are important to Amazon. So one of the things is that there would be super fast performance. So if you can just see right here, we can start kind of fast scrolling. I'm holding down the button. I can also click through really quickly and things move relatively in a snappy fashion. As you can see, this is something that would cause a bit of a problem on an Apple TV if you were moving this quickly through like a Netflix app. Another thing that has to do with performance is they've figured out how to know what you're going to watch. So these are on my watch list. There's also the option for the recently viewed stuff. So it knows that I'm probably likely to watch How I Met Your Mother. And if I click to watch right now, it starts immediately. There's no loading screen. That's a feature called ASAP. And they're really excited about it. I am too. That's a big deal in terms of kind of what people complain about. Another problem that they are trying to solve is search, right? So normally when you are searching for something across a number of different content partners, it can be really difficult. The way that they're solving this, instead of typing every word one at a time, you can use this search button. Band of Outsiders. There we go, we figured it out. So the way that this works, it can be confusing for some of us, but the way that this works is you have to hold the button while you're talking. So, How I Met Your Mother. All right, and it brings it right up, brings me into my How I Met Your Mother options, as well as things that it thinks are similar to that, like Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which is fantastic. Another thing that's cool, so you can go into any content. So we're looking for an episode or a TV show that's also on Netflix. So this is available to buy on Amazon Prime. It's also available on Netflix. So we can click in here with more ways to watch, and it'll give us, right now it's set to do Netflix, but it can also give us these options if we want to buy it on Amazon. The key here is that Amazon's focused on an open ecosystem when it comes to different content providers, and this will allow them to essentially allows the user to get the lowest price no matter what. So if you're a Netflix user and it's available to buy on Prime, maybe you go to Netflix. Something else that Amazon is bringing into the whole ecosystem right now is the idea of gaming. So we have this gaming controller. We've paired it with the device. You can also use your regular remote as a gaming controller, or your smartphone, your iOS or Android smartphone or tablet. There's an app for that, shockingly. But we're going to use the gaming controller right now. They created this new game called Sub-Zero. It's brand new for the Fire TV, created by Amazon Game Studios. This is essentially like a tower defense game and a shooter all at the same time. So I want to talk a little bit about the UI, because this is kind of where everything comes together. It doesn't matter how fast it is, doesn't matter how well you can search. If you're not comfortable with this, you know, obviously it can be an issue. So what bothers me is on most of these systems, there's this kind of running category list over here, and then things all move tile-wise left and right. But there's actually two kind of side categories or folders that you can go into. So if you're in home and you go over here to recent, you would think that you could swipe to the right and it would just continue going. But if I swipe to the right, I actually go straight into another category of things, and it's just what's recent. If I go into recently added, you'd think that I can scroll across this one kind of row, but that's not the case. It goes further in. So that to me has been kind of making me lost in between these two rows or columns, pardon me. But you know, maybe that's something that we just get used to over time. All in all, this is a $100 device. Your controller is $30. It's really solidly put together, and my initial impressions are that it's a great media streamer. I don't know how I feel about the UI yet. I don't know how I feel about gaming being a selling point, but in terms of competition, if we're looking at this against an Apple TV or a Roku or a Chromecast, this is definitely in the running. I think it's a really solid little streamer, and I'm excited to go home and play with it some more. So these are our hands-on impressions of the Fire TV from Amazon, and we'll hit you with a full review very shortly. Thanks.